Michael Hunter believes that Alexander Povetkin is going to knock Dillian Whyte out again in their rematch this Saturday. He said, I think that it's going to be a repeat. It's going to be very similar to the first fight. Povetkin always gets to his man at some point, and Dillian Whyte always gets hit at some point in all of his fights. So I think it's going to be a very similar outcome. It could go either way, but I just think the experience of Povetkin is going to outweigh Whyte's youth and skills. I think I have a better chin than Dillian Whyte for sure, and I think I have a better eye. I really don't get caught too flush, and I see it. I don't think that Dillian Whyte, when he got hit, he did not see that punch. That's what is a little bit different with me. It's very hard to hit me with punches that I don't see. I think the same thing could happen. He could get knocked out. Michael Hunter picked Povetkin to win the first time, but he said he was actually surprised by how well Dillian Whyte did. He didn't think that Povetkin would be on the floor. I guess he underestimated Dillian Whyte's punching power. That's one of the things, because he hit Michael Hunter, that is, Povetkin, with all his best shots in the early rounds. And although he did stun Povetkin, he did rock him, he never managed to get him down. Whereas Dillian Whyte was able to drop Povetkin with relative ease. And when I say relative ease, I mean when he started catching him with clean power shots, he didn't have to put too many of them together to put Povetkin down. And yeah, I think that surprised Michael Hunter. He didn't realize that there was so much of a difference between his punching power and Dillian Whyte's punching power. Evidently there is. So yeah, he admitted that he was surprised by how well Dillian did. He was surprised that the knockout came against the run of play, but he did expect the knockout, in Povetkin's favor. And so is the case this time. He's obviously more enlightened about the realities of these two fighters, how their styles match against each other. He now knows that Dillian Whyte has the power and he has the skills to be able to get certain things done against Povetkin. But just like he felt going into the first fight, Povetkin's got the power to take Dillian Whyte out. He must have noticed Dillian Whyte getting hurt when they both fought on the undercard of the AJ Ruiz rematch. Dillian Whyte got hurt by Marius Wack. He got hurt by and dropped by Joseph Parker, dropped by Oscar Rivas, hurt by Robert Helenius, knocked out by Anthony Joshua. I'm sure Michael Hunter has seen all these things, and that's why he felt like Dillian Whyte would be vulnerable to getting knocked out in the first Povetkin fight. So, yeah, I can fully understand why Michael Hunter is taking this position. Look, this is not a fight where anybody's prediction is outrageous or wrong. I mean, we'll find out whose prediction was right or wrong after the fight. But what I'm saying is, given the fact that both guys hit the deck in the first fight, I don't understand why anybody would be, ridiculing somebody's prediction because they're picking Dillian Whyte by knockout early, or Povetkin on points, or Dillian Whyte on points, or Dillian Whyte knockout late. It's one of them fights where anything could happen. If both guys were on the floor in the first fight, then how is it not a logical assumption that anything could literally happen? It all depends on how both guys approach the fight, and maybe it depends on who lands the big shot first. Maybe it's that. And that's why some people believe that Dillian Whyte's best bet is actually to go in aggressive, push Povetkin back, and try and land his big shot before Povetkin lands on him. Maybe there's some merit to that. It's very risky doing that. And Dillian Whyte has been talking in interviews about being more aggressive in this rematch. David Haye, he's one of the people that felt Dillian Whyte was too cautious in the first fight, and that gave Povetkin the opportunity. But at the same time, he didn't lose when he was being cautious because he was being cautious. That's not why he lost. Dillian Whyte lost the fight because he was standing with Povetkin on the inside, which is one of the things I said in the pre-fight videos leading into that Povetkin fight that Dillian Whyte must not do. He must not stand in close quarters against Povetkin, the guy with shorter arms and tighter hooks. You don't do that. You just don't do that. If you're going to be close to Povetkin, you better be wrapping him up, or you better be pushing him back physically, you know, putting your shoulder into him, pushing him back. You don't start exchanging hooks on the inside with Povetkin. Yeah, there is the chance that you might win an exchange or two, but if you consistently do it, he's going to get the better of you. He's got shorter arms and tighter shots up close. You don't want to be there if you're Dillian Whyte. Stick to what you're good at. So, as much as people say he should have been aggressive in the first fight and taken Povetkin out, that's not why he lost the fight. In terms of it wasn't at long range where Dillian Whyte got caught and got knocked out. No, he was up close when he was standing with him trading hooks. Yeah. So, for me, the strategy of keeping it long, which I advocated for in the lead up to the first fight, that was a strategy that was working very well. Thank you very much. It was working very well. And if he'd stuck to that rather than trying to, you know, hook it out with Povetkin up close in that 5th round, if he'd stuck to that and just continued to break him down with a jab, then we might not be sitting here talking about a rematch. He would have already won the first time around. The rematch is different because both fighters know things about the opponent which they didn't know first time around. They might have suspected certain things, but they didn't know. There's a difference between thinking or believing and knowing. This time around, they both know for a fact that Povetkin has the power to knock Dillian Whyte out with one punch. That's it. One shot on the chin, it's all over. They both know that for a fact. And that might change the way both of them fight. That might change the way both of them think. If Dillian Whyte comes out in the rematch and he boxes long like he did first time around, Povetkin might be more aggressive than he was first time. Because he's thinking, okay, yes, this guy's got power, but I like my chances of surviving his power better than his chances of surviving my power. So rather than staying on the outside and getting battered with this jab, I need to get in quick. I need to be more aggressive, because it's not like Dillian Whyte has tremendous foot speed where if you're even more aggressive, he's going to be able to get away. No. The more aggressive you are, the more quickly you shut down, you close down the range, the better your chances are going to be of landing another big shot and taking him out again. So I think, again, if Dillian decides to box long, Povetkin might be even more aggressive than he was first time around, and therefore he's going to feel under more pressure. And when you feel under pressure, that's when you're going to make mistakes. So this time around, I think that the strategy of being aggressive is more viable than the first time around, because things have changed and the fighters know things about each other. The mindsets have changed, and you don't know, again, I keep talking about this, where Dillian's going to be at mentally, having been knocked out with one punch. There's a lot of people that dismiss it. Dillian himself, I mean, what would you expect Dillian to do? Dillian is a warrior. He's a very brave man. He's a defiant individual. He's a rebellious individual. He's not someone that's going to come out and say, oh yeah, I've been losing sleep and I've been thinking about the knockout and it's haunting me. Obviously, he's not going to say that, is he? Even if he feels that way, he's going to suppress it in his own mind, right? But if you saw the footage of, and I don't know why these television companies do this. I remember them doing it with Lennox Lewis when he lost to Oliver McCall back in the days. I don't know why they do this. They want to play the knockout. You know, someone's just been knocked out in devastating fashion, and they want the fighter who got knocked out to watch themselves getting knocked out. I don't know why they want to do this. To me, it's always been a bit sick, you know, wanting to make them watch that. Look, if the fighter wants to watch it in their own spare time, behind closed doors, maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. But I just feel like doing it publicly and, hey, watch yourself get... There's just something a bit off about that to me. Making a fighter watch his own knockout defeat publicly. Anyway, if you watch the video where Dillian Whyte is showing himself getting knocked out, look at his eyes. Does that look like someone who is not at all fazed or disturbed by what he's watching? I think that Dillian Whyte has reacted with anger to what happened to him. He's been very, very angry. He's angry with himself. Obviously, there's all the trolls online and stuff like that, and he's angry with all them. But how will Dillian Whyte be when he steps in the ring and the first bell goes? Will the predominant feeling in his gut and his brain and his heart be anger? Or will it be nervousness? Will it be apprehension? You know? We'll see when the first bell goes. Perhaps Dillian doesn't really know himself. But these are the things you have to take into account going into the rematch. It's not the same Dillian this time around, and it's not the same Povetkin mentally. And that is going to affect, or that certainly can affect, the way the fight can go. So, therefore, again, the strategy of Dillian Whyte being more aggressive, I think, is a more viable strategy this time around, because I just think that Povetkin is going to smell blood and he's going to feel like he can apply more pressure to Dillian Whyte this time. So, yeah, fascinating fight. Can't wait to see it. Let's see how it turns out. Will Dillian Whyte get revenge over Povetkin? Or will Povetkin knock him out again, like Michael Hunter seems to think? Anyway, that's just my take on it. Let me know your take in the comments below. Apparently, there's long odds on Povetkin. I'm not sure if it's Povetkin by knockout. There was people in my Discord server talking about, was it 8-1 or something? Or some 13-1? Povetkin by knockout, and there was something crazy, some crazy betting odds that people were talking about, which sounded too good to be true. So if you're a betting person, then you fill me in the comments below about that. I'll catch you on the next one. Come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide range of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly. It's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&A sessions, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got a Discord server where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. There's no contract, no commitment, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.